All right, let's get into it. When you picture Bangkok, yeah, you've got the amazing food, the incredible temples, but then you have the Chatuchak Weekend Market. And this place, it's not just a market, it's a sprawling, chaotic, absolutely beautiful city within a city. It's an economic powerhouse. So the big question is, how does a place this massive even work?
I mean, just try to wrap your head around this number. Over 200,000 people every single weekend. They all flood into this one spot. Now imagine you're in charge. How on earth do you keep that many people happy? You've got thousands of stalls, a maze of alleyways. Just figuring out what people actually care about is a huge, huge challenge.
And that really brings us to the core mystery we're going to try to solve today. In a place with so much going on, so much to see, what's the secret sauce? What's the one thing that turns a casual, one-time visitor into someone who can't wait to come back? Well, I'll tell you this. The answer is probably not what you're thinking. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the market itself. Then we'll crack the code using some really cool data. We'll build a profile of the typical shopper, see what they expect versus what they actually get, and then the big reveal, the secret to getting them to return. And finally, what we can learn from it all. Let's do it. Okay, first, a little backstory. Chatuchak didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It actually started way back in 1979, and it moved around a couple of times before it landed in its current spot. And over the years, it has just exploded from a local trading post into this massive, can't-miss international landmark. A true labyrinth of commerce.
So how do we find our way through this maze of customer desires? Well, turns out we have a map. And this map comes from a 2018 master's thesis from Siam University. Seriously, this study is like our insider intel. It gives us the key to understanding who the market's most important customers really are. Now, the researchers were smart. They zoomed in on one really specific group, Chinese tourists. And why them? Well, back in 2017, they were the single biggest group of visitors in all of Thailand, making up a whopping 28% of everyone coming into the country. So yeah, if you want to get Thai tourism, you have to get this group. So who exactly is the person shopping at Chatuchak? You might have an idea in your head, right? But the data paints a very, very specific and honestly kind of surprising picture. Let's build this profile of the modern shopper piece by piece. First off, what do they do for a living? Get this, almost half, 46.6%, are students. Okay, that kind of makes sense. It's a huge draw for a younger crowd, for sure. Way more than people working in private companies or for the government. So far, so good. And this next bit really confirms it. Look at these ages. A massive 57.8% are between 21 and 25 years old. So we're talking about a very specific group of young millennials and Gen Z. Totally tracks. But this is where our profile takes a really interesting turn. Okay, you ready for the twist? Let's talk education. These young student visitors, they are incredibly well educated. Over half, 53.1%, have a master's degree. Let that sink in. This completely shatters any stereotype you might have of, a casual budget backpacker. We are talking about highly educated, sharp, young consumers. So now we know who they are. And this is where the story gets really juicy. We're going to dig into the gap between what they hoped to find at the market and what they actually got. Expectation versus reality. This table just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the left. That's what they cared about most before they got there. Service, price, and product quality. Makes sense, right? But now look at the right, what they were most satisfied with. Number one, not price, not quality. It was how easy it was to get there. Convenient transportation. The only thing that shows up in both top lists is service. That's a huge disconnect. So what was the biggest letdown? The single thing that got the lowest satisfaction score in the entire survey. It wasn't rude vendors or bad products. No, it was something way more basic. Not enough trash cans and toilets. Okay, hang on to that detail. It's our crucial clue. Okay, so this all leads us to the big one, the million-dollar question. What actually makes these super educated young tourists want to come back for more? We're not just talking about what they liked, we're talking about what builds real, lasting loyalty. And here we go. These are the winners. The things most strongly linked to whether a visitor plans to return are clean shops, enough bins and toilets, there's our clue again, good service, and then product quality. Did you catch that? The bins and toilets are right near the top. Basic infrastructure is just as important, maybe even more so, than the stuff you're actually buying.
So you might be thinking, is this just a guess? Nope. The study ran the numbers, and it found a clear statistical link between enough bins and toilets and the intention to revisit. The value was 0.333. Now, you don't need to be a statistician to get this. It basically means there's a direct, measurable connection. Better bathrooms literally mean more repeat business. Wow.
So what's the big takeaway here? These findings aren't just about one market in Bangkok. They're basically a powerful, data-driven blueprint for making tourists happier anywhere in the world. The study lays out 3 super clear, actionable steps. Step 1, nail the basics. Get the infrastructure right. More bins, more toilets, better maps and signs. Step 2, improve the human experience through better service training. And then, step 3, once that foundation is solid, then you can worry about elevating the products themselves. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, right? We've just seen how something as simple as a clean bathroom can have a massive impact on a huge market. So it makes you think, for you, when you travel, what are those small, overlooked details that can totally make or break your entire trip?